Welcome everybody to Cooking with Poppy.
Today my granddaughters and I will be making the most amazing apple pie. Please leave a comment below and let us know what you think. And most importantly,
Like and subscribe
to our channel. Today we're going to be using a variety of apples, Ambrosia, Granny Smith, Honeycrisp, in order to get the crisp, sweet, sharp flavor that we're looking for in an apple pie. And we'll be using a lemon to brighten up the flavors. So to get started, I'm going to send these apples to the girls, and I'll start working on that double pie crust. Start by putting 2 sticks of butter into the freezer about a half an hour before you mix your dry goods. Then let's start with 2½ cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of sugar. Then just a quick mix. After your butter has been in the refrigerator for about a half an hour, it's time to go ahead and grate it into your flour. And then repeat with the second stick of
butter.
The secret to making crust is keeping everything really cold, so work fast. If it starts to warm up, just put it back in the freezer for a few minutes. Now let's mix this with our hands, just making sure that all the butter is completely covered with flour. Then put your mixture into the freezer for 5 minutes. Now take 1/4 cup of water, add 1 teaspoon
Vanilla.
Add several ice cubes, and you're ready to make that pie crust. Make a little well in your flour mixture, and then slowly start adding your water into your flour mixture. The vanilla water is going to help your crust have a little bit better flavor. Switch to using your hand and just add enough water until the dough will hold together. Once the dough holds together, we will separate it into 2 portions. One for the top crust, one for the bottom crust. Now we're going to create some layers in our dough that will make your crust really flaky. First, form it into somewhat of a ball, and then flatten it out, just like this. Then cut it into 4 equal pie-shaped pieces. Then stack these pieces on top of each other. And then press it back down into a circle. And then cut it into 4 pieces again. And stack them back up. This is what's going to create all those flaky layers in your pie crust. Then just press it back into a circle, about like this, and then cover it in saran wrap. Repeat with the other portion of dough and then put them both in the refrigerator for half an hour. I think Glad Cling Wrap should pay me for all the free advertising. What do you think, girls?
Oh, Poppy.
Well, the dough is done. Let's check on the girls and those apples.
It's important to wash the apples before we start.
Go. Even little kids like me can help with these. Wait, this way?
If you want to add one of these to your kitchen, then check the description for the Amazon link.
This is awesome! sister can help.
Apple rings? So cool. My turn. Good. Big kids like me can help cut up the apples.
With a little help.
Ah, shucks.
All done.
Back to you, Poppy. Come on.
Now that the girls have done all the hard work, I'm going to soak the apples in water and I'm going to add the juice of 1 lemon. This will help brighten the flavor of the apples and keep them from turning brown. Let's give this a quick stir and then set it to the side so we can start working on our apple cider syrup. Now I'm going to add 1½ cups of apple cider into my saucepan and put it on
Medium heat.
To that I'm going to add 1 cinnamon stick and 2 teaspoons of
Vanilla.
Now we're going to bring this to a simmer and cook it down until it's a syrup. Once your apple cider has reduced down, set it to the side and let it cool. Let's add 1 cup of
Brown sugar.
1 cup of white sugar, a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of
Cardamom.
just a pinch of ginger, and 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. Let's give that a quick stir. Pour your mixture right onto your apples and mix it together. And now it's ready for your apple cider reduction. Let's just slowly drizzle this over the top of your apple mixture. And now we'll just set this off to the side and drain it right before we put it in the pie shell. Time to roll out that dough. Now I'm going to roll this dough out until it's about 1/8 of an inch thick. You'll want your pie crust at least 1 inch or 2 bigger than your pie plate. Then I'm just going to roll the crust right onto my rolling pin and unroll it right into my pie dish. Just lift the edges of your pie dough and let it sink down into the dish. Try not to stretch it. Once you get it all nice and smooth, it's time to put in the filling. Now we got the apples all nice and even out in there. It's time to put on that top crust. So now we're just going to repeat the process. And just roll it right up on your rolling pin. Then unroll it right on top of your pie. Now trim the top crust so it hangs over about 1/2 inch. Now roll the bottom crust up over the top crust. Now using our fingers we're going to go around and flute the edges of the crust. Just like this. Now we're going to cut some vents in the top to let the steam out as the apples cook. Steam vents are done. It's time for the egg wash. For my egg wash, I'm going to use an egg with just a little bit of water, and brush it all over the top of the pie. Now we're going to sprinkle a little bit of sugar all over the egg wash. And now we're going to put our pie in the oven at 375 degrees for 1 hour. And here we have one amazing smelling apple pie. You really need to let this pie rest for about 3 hours and let it cool off before you cut it. And that's going to be the hard part. We hope you enjoyed our video today. And as always,
Thanks for coming, everybody.